Bet you weren't expecting to see me so soon after my previous video, but there's only so long you can lay in bed before you have to get up and do something. And I'm feeling up to making a video today. I feel a heck of a lot better. My eye is starting to bulge up. I think I'm going to get a black eye from the fall and the concussion that I had. But other than that, I'm right as rain. And I wanted to make a video talking about Moon Channel and his video attempt at destroying Karl Jobst, completely blowing up in his face, and Karl Jobst absolutely undressing Moon in front of everyone to expose what an absolute catastrophe that attempt of a video takedown of Karl Jobst actually was. At the end of the day, Karl's video was incredibly fantastic, and there are some points in Karl's video that I definitely wanted to focus on a lot more. Hit that subscribe, give me a like, and check out smashjt.com for my full article breaking down Moon Channel and Karl Jobst's dissection of his video, completely destroying any kind of argument Moon Channel, a supposed lawyer, had in any of this. Karl recently posted Clueless Lawyer Defends the Completionist, and this video was talking about Moon Channel and how he's supposedly a lawyer and was trying to give his viewers the perspective of a lawyer so that they would understand just how wrong Karl Jobst is in all of this, and a ridiculous attempt to discredit Karl because for some reason Moon thought that he knew law better than a YouTuber, even though the law can be read by anybody. I had a lot of people reach out to me after Moon made his video talking about how Karl Jobst is wrong because he's not a lawyer, and oh, here's an alternative take, and here's a different perspective of someone who knows the law, and Karl's just this no-name YouTuber guy that's trying to make a name for himself by taking down this popular figure, and he shouldn't be able to do that, so focus on this alternative perspective from Moon Channel. And I started watching Moon's video, this is back when he released it, like a month ago, and I was like, yeah, no, this just seems like just an angry ex-girlfriend that's just mad at somebody. It doesn't seem like he's actually taking the content seriously and the points that Karl had been making and trying to dissect them. Instead, just taking Jirard's perspective the entire time. Moon's approach to analyzing the situation involving Jirard Khalil was characterized by a glaring lack of objectivity. Karl Jobst, in his video, exposed how Moon's arguments consistently favored Khalil, ignoring a balanced legal perspective. This bias was shown in Moon's failure to engage with the entire body of evidence, leading to crucial factual inaccuracy and a flawed conclusion. And honestly, watching Moon's video, that was the only takeaway I had from it, is this guy just seems to have a vendetta against Karl, or he's some sort of weird fanboy of the completionist that just wants to see it Jirard's way. Oh, I said Jirard right that time. Maybe I'm getting better at this. Karl's analysis went beyond just legal arguments. He delved into Khalil's personal history, highlighting instances of habitual lying. He pointed out how exaggerated claims of his mother's diagnosis with frontotemporal dementia and inconsistencies regarding his employment status at Best Buy. Now, yes, I know saying the dates of when your mom was diagnosed with frontotemporal dementia was a big red flag as far as can we trust this guy, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, maybe he's just kind of trying to logistically go about this, and maybe he gets a couple days wrong or says a couple things, but the way Karl exposes how he just starts exaggerating it more and more as time goes on, trying to tug at the heartstrings of people for them to be emotionally manipulated by Jirard Khalil. And then when he goes into talking about the Best Buy stuff, it just exposes it that much more.
This exact exchange I had with the manager at the time is the reason why I left Best Buy, because every time I kept reinventing ways to sell games, to talk to people, to communicate,
and then he just pulled me aside and goes, listen here, you little privileged piece of shit. You listen to me, you do what I tell you. If you keep this up, you'll be working here forever. And that was it. The switch flipped. I turned to the old lady and I was like, ma'am, I'm gonna say something really rude. Excuse me. Turned to the guy and said, fuck you, I quit, you piece of shit.
Let's go.
Jirard is clearly a dude that manipulates people for sympathy for his own benefit. And this is something that Karl brought up in his video that I'm like, there's so much work that went into this. Karl looked up so much stuff, so many videos, put together this insane sizzle reel absolutely destroying Jirard, that my concern is it kind of gets lost in the whole, oh yeah, the Moon channel was wrong, and here's my rebuttal to him. One, don't ever piss off Karl, because I would not want him coming after me, no matter how good of a person I am, because I'm sure he'd be able to find something. But the other thing is, this is being lost on Jirard. He's not getting people figuring out that he's the problem here. Everyone's focused on how Moon had a completely wrong argument about the completionist, when in reality, we need to focus on what is actually important here. Jirard Khalil is a habitual liar.
And more importantly, she is the longest lasting survivor to date with someone who's been diagnosed with frontotemporal dementia. They gave her 6 months. She said, screw you, I'm going to live 15 years. She pushed the boundaries of what science knew and what people knew about this illness.
This is the most insane claim I've ever heard Jirard make.
And you know I love the fact that Karl brought up Tommy Tallarico in this video because, yes, I've been saying this for a while now, personally. Someone who knows Tommy Tallarico and the type of person he is, how he can be so directly manipulative to your face. It's like there's no way you can understand what I'm talking about until you deal with someone like this face to face in reality. When people tell you about these people, it's like, well, duh, obviously they're a manipulator. Obviously they are trying to get things from you. But when you are talking to them and they come across as such a nice person, you can't help but just open up to them and be like, oh, they're cool. I'll trust them because they broke down my walls. That's what people like these people do.
Will we see all of the Data East games that were offered on the original on television?
Like Bump and Jump, Burger Time, Lock
Mission
and
X.
Chase. I'll give you guys an exclusive.
Yeah.
Absolutely yes.
Okay.
Oh,
okay. That makes jump.
And they're being worked on now.
And the other thing about Moon's video that really pissed me off, and it's not just Moon. I gotta be honest here, I saw this floating around on Twitter as well. There were a lot of people coming after Karl for having, oh my goodness, an advertisement in his video. Like, what the hell is wrong with supporting your career? I literally don't understand this tactic of people trying to take down someone who has a legitimate argument against a situation and bringing it to light for other people to find out about, to say, hey, maybe that guy you love isn't as nice as he's cracked up to be. And oh, by the way, before I get going with all the hours and days and weeks and months of work that I put into this, let me show you guys a 60-second ad talking about this, whatever it may be, this new vacuum cleaner or mobile game or whatever it is. Let me show you this first and I'll get into that. And then people use that as a tactic to try to tear apart his argument. What? Content creation, particularly in-depth investigative work like that of Karl Jobst, involves significant effort, research, and time. And I know this personally because when I put this kind of work into a video, I understand how much work goes into it. And yes, I get teared apart all the time by Reddit users saying, oh, I just use other people's content and I just say what they say to other people. It's like the point of my videos is usually to get the word out there, to say, hey, here's some information I found interesting. Here's a little bit more research that I've done, pairing the facts together and giving my opinion to the audience. I don't see anything wrong with that, but it's just weird how someone who doesn't like you is going to try to find anything about what you do and twist it a little bit to be like, that's why they're a bad person. It's like, bruh, no! Creators like Karl who dedicate themselves to unearthing truths and presenting well-constructed narratives deserve compensation for their labor. And I know personally, YouTube advertisements are not enough to support a creator on their own, especially someone with a family. So if they're going to be adding in advertisements into their video in addition to YouTube AdSense, and people want to watch their videos and they're doing the hard work, more power to them. Critiquing a creator's right to earn from their content undermines the very ecosystem that allows for diverse and independent voices to thrive on platforms like YouTube. As viewers and fellow creators, it's time for all of us to move past this ridiculous perspective and acknowledge the legitimate work and contribution of content creators in a digital space in the modern era. This is how people work, provide entertaining content, and move forward with their lives, and there's nothing wrong with it. Karl Jobst's video meticulously undressing Moon Channel's arguments was a masterclass in critical analysis, showcasing his ability to dissect complex narratives with precision. But like I said, even through this perfect masterclass of a teardown video, what I don't want to get lost in all of this is how Jirard Khalil is a habitual liar. He's someone that will say whatever he needs to say to get the result he wants. He's not someone that's going to just man up and do the right thing when a situation calls for it. He's going to do whatever he needs to do to survive. And you need to go into talking about Jirard Khalil, and when you do talk directly to him, understand behind those eyeballs, that's the type of person you're dealing with. Now, it would be easy for me to just completely destroy Moon here and be like, what an idiot. Like, what was he thinking? But I gotta be real. Moon came forward. He had a public response, which I'll put on the screen right now. I'm not gonna read this whole thing, but I do want to focus on one section of it, where he said, "Karl is right. I didn't engage with the entire body of evidence, thereby getting crucial facts wrong. I also unnecessarily brought in his finances. I took what should have been a neutral legal analysis and made it hostile towards him and Mudahar without just cause, and I came away with a flawed conclusion as a result." And Moon stepped up to the plate and apologized properly. Take some freaking notes, Jirard. This is how you say, "I'm sorry, I screwed up, I made a mistake," and how people give you another chance. Moon went to Karl, personally DM'd him, they talked about this, they talked it out, Karl was okay with it, and they moved forward. Karl didn't want any hate going towards Moon, nor do I. He's the type of person that probably was in over his head, trying to get attention on YouTube, which, yes, I'm very familiar with, and probably went a little too far with his analysis, just trying to get those clicks, and it happens. It's okay as long as you admit it and understand where your faults are and get better. Move forward and be a better person. Don't make the same mistake again. And the apology was perfect. I'm totally fine with that. Now we can focus on what we're all talking about, the issue here. Jirard Khalil, Jirard the Completionist, Jirard and his family of potential fraudulent liars. This situation serves as an incredibly important reminder for all content creators, especially those dealing with legal and personal matters, about the relevance of objectivity, thorough research, and ethical standards. Moon's public apology and commitment to improvement set an example for others in the digital content space to follow. Karl Jobst's thorough critique not only highlighted the flaws of Moon's arguments, but also underscored the need for content creators to adhere to higher standards of accuracy and fairness. At the end of the day, though, let's not forget, this is all about how Jirard the Completionist lied about donations. And that shouldn't be lost in any of this. Jirard Khalil is the person that people are talking about. And while I loved Karl's video and the absolute undressing takedown of Moon Channel, it was fantastic entertainment, I don't want to be lost in all of this that they're talking about Jirard and how he deceived people out of money. He lied about where donations were going, and now he's waiting for the situation to get distracted so we can just continue to post videos of, what's he talking about now? Pirates, looting, stealing, plundering? I mean, let's be honest, it's kind of right on brand with the type of person we found Jirard Khalil to be. But at the end of the day, like I said, I don't want to be lost in all of this. While Karl's video was fantastic and a great takedown of Moon, Moon came forward with the proper apology. Let's move forward from this and focus on the real issue here, Jirard. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, you stay smashing.
And it actually changed my entire approach of how I marketed to sell games in the store. And because of G4, we became the biggest Best Buy in the country to sell video games, because I was basically copying Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb in how they talked about games, and I just took it so personally.
Smash, change,